Welcome to Straight Out of Savannah, Talking with Tammi, a podcast that showcases people you may not know who are choosing to use their gifts to inspire and move the planet.
Thank you so much for joining us at Straight Out of Savannah, Talking with Tammi. My guest, Amickoleh Imani, is joining me. She is an amazing young lady. She has so many gifts, so many things that she does, and she's divinely led by spirit. So right now, I want Amickoleh to tell you about herself and what she does. Take it away.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Yes, my name is Amickoleh Imani. I am an intuitive creative wellness guide. Among other things, I'm also a singer-songwriter, photographer. But right now, I've just recently launched my course, Activate Your Soul, Activate Yourself. And so it is geared towards creatives, helping them to tap into their mental and emotional health. So that way they can really, they're better able to identify self-limiting beliefs, blocks, challenges. I know that's not your favorite word, but challenges.
Right.
And to allow them to really develop a better relationship with their intuition. So that way that when these circumstances are arising mentally and emotionally, they're able to use those opportunities as information to really figure out what their soul is wanting them to do and wanting from them. And really, most often than not, it's just their soul's way of wanting them to tap further into their authenticity, their authentic expression, their purpose, their mission, all of that. So, sometimes spirit has to kind of wake us up and, take us through a few things for us to really realize that we're not in alignment with our true nature. So that's my role as an intuitive creative wellness guide. And so me also being a creative, I really, my heart goes out to the creatives because we tend to be the perfectionists, the people pleasers, we kind of tend to hide behind our art and things like that. So it becomes more of a mask than an opportunity of expression. So that's what my mission is right now.
That is so powerful. Now let's get into it.
Okay.
What brought you there? I mean, what took you to this place where you said, I can be a guide? Because it sounds like you're more of an oracle.
Ooh, I'm so glad you said that word because that is my word. Oracle and priestess, those two are like, yes. Oh, I'm so glad you read that. Yes. Wow, it's so funny that you said that. But honestly, I went through um, I'll say my last bout of very severe depression and anxiety. I didn't even know I had anxiety,
Yes.
but I did. And it lasted for about 2.5 months. And it was an opportunity for me to see how much I had abandoned myself. I was talking to this person and I literally just completely abandoned everything, trying to hold on to higher self. My soul was trying to hold on to this body. And it just came to a point where I realized that I had to put myself first and prioritize my goals and my needs and my wants and let this person go. And so once I did that, I was able to really tap deeper into myself. I had no other choice because I had become so disassociated from my truth and my authenticity that that was August where I had to literally start picking up the pieces back to my soul, reclaiming all of my energy, reclaiming all the parts of myself that I had abandoned for the sake of this person. And it's not to place blame, but it was really a lesson for me to learn how to set up boundaries, to learn how to not forsake myself for
Yes.
anybody or anything, on this
Yes.
planet. And so that was my ultimate learning lesson. And that was what really inspired me to start my course. But even prior to that, when I came into my spiritual awakening, I call it a reawakening, because I've always been
Yes.
spiritual. I have a Christian background. So I've always been connected to God, but now connected in my own way, right? My authentic truth.
We're
And
gonna talk about that
so
too.
yes, yes, yes. And I love talking about that.
Yes.
So once I started really tapping deeper into my intuition, that's when I was like, everyone should know this. Like everyone should know, like they should be using their intuition. They should be activating their intuition, like da 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 da. I just had no idea how I was going to be an instrument in that. And
Yes.
so, excuse me, it just started with me. So I actually read oracle cards, funny enough. And I kept
Mm-hmm.
pulling this card, teaching, teaching, teaching. And I was just like, what am I teaching? And who am I teaching? Yes, I love that. And I just did not think, because for me, I'm thinking teaching like school, like someone's
Yes.
kids. And I'm like, that is not me at
Yes.
all.
Yes.
And so I just started with, so I started my, just writing out or putting up my intuitive guidance and things on my personal Instagram page, which is my music side. And then and this was like this was during May of 2020. So I had been getting all this insight and wisdom, just putting them in my notes app on my phone, because I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, I'm just going to start typing it out. I have no idea what this is about to be or where it's going to go. And then I started like dibbling, dabbling, and putting up, I call them lessons, on my Instagram page. And I was like, okay, I feel like this needs its own space. So from May, when I started that, to last October 31st is when I finally created my own wellness page for my insights and my all of that stuff. So it took me like a year and a half just to put it out into like the ethers, and then like another like 6 months just for me to create its own space. So it's funny when I like do the chronology or whatever, because it's like it felt like it took so much longer than,
Yes.
because I was fighting myself so much and just have so much
Yes.
insecurity and worry and fear, and I just didn't know I just didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I finally, like we were talking about earlier, I just started doing it. And it started as a blog post on my photography page, to an Instagram page, to a whole business now. So it's just been to a podcast. I have my own podcast as well. And it's just been growing and growing and doing its own thing. And so I've just been riding the wave.
And seeing that is so important that you said that,
Mm.
because so many people, they're just doing all the things and doing, and not getting into that place of allowing, and not getting
Mm.
into that space of riding the waves,
Mm.
and it's amazing. And I love the fact that you're so young and you're doing it and you're embracing it,
Thank you.
and even the thing about, making sure that you put up boundaries and that you loved on you, as opposed to pouring your love all into someone else.
Mm.
That's powerful. I mean, that is so powerful, especially because, I mean, like me, I did that for years. I mean,
Mm.
I literally years, until I finally said, wait, this ain't right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm loving him, but who's loving me?
Mm, wow.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. So I think that is just so awesome. So let's go back and talk about, your upbringing. So you
Okay.
said you were raised Christian, and how
Yes.
did you how did you navigate that whole scene? Because I have the same thing, and it took me a little bit of time to, I say, come out of the spiritual closet,
Mm.
as opposed to the religious closet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
had to justify, that the fact that, like I tell people all the time, I said, I love God,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't call myself a Christian. I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I said, I love God. Jesus is in my team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Archangel Michael been with me all my life. But
Yeah.
I can't roll that way. I can't
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
So how did you get there? I mean, tell me about, how did you navigate that whole scene where, you come from this Christian background, and then now you're into the woo.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, real into the woo. You know what? It was such a process, because I'm innately just a very good person. I just want to do the right thing, and I just want to
Yes.
do good things, and I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to break too many rules, like I'm very, cut and dry by the book in a lot of things. And so, when you're growing up in that, environment where, like you're going to hell if you don't do this, and if you don't do that, and if you're not praying enough,
Yes.
and if you're not speaking in tongues, and da 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 da, then what kind of Christian are you really? Like all these things. And so like I don't speak in tongues. All this stuff that I'm around, nothing against it. I grew up in a Pentecostal church, so I love when people would just catch the spirit. I used to think that was so cool. I was like, damn, I wish I could do that. Like
shout all over the church.
Yeah, and I thought that was so beautiful. People would just catch the spirit. But I started to, as I got older, and I'm like, okay, well, I haven't caught the spirit yet. So there's something wrong with me. Am I going to hell? Like I did not know what was wrong with me. Like why? How come I can't speak in tongues? And all this stuff. And
what? They didn't make you tarry? They make you tarry, girl. That's what we did. We tarried. You got on your knees at the altar and you said Jesus, 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 Jesus until something came out. Child, they would pop you up on the back of your head.
I know, right? Like you just had to like just do something, right?
We used to play church in the backyard.
Man, like
and shout like Sister So and So.
Yes. And it never happened. So as I got older, I'm like, okay, like I'm broken. Something's wrong with me. And something just like, I'm for real. I had like a whole complex about it. And I just remember hearing like a really quiet voice, and it was just like my knowing. And it was just like, that's just not how you express your love for God, or how you express your love for Christ. Like everyone, it shows up differently for everyone, and regardless of what my mom thought or what anyone else thought, like I am just a much more reserved or, whatever. And I think too, I just had to come into my own understanding and experience. I think a lot of those people who had really gone through some extremely, like even my mom, for instance, like, she's a survivor of domestic violence. So I think when you're really coming from places where like you've really gotten saved through some things, like, yeah, I can totally see where that is like, you're just letting it all out and just, letting your spirit talk to God, talk to source in that way. But, I am this good little kid. I haven't really been through anything. So I didn't understand it. And, and it just wasn't natural for me. So I don't like faking things, and I don't like doing all that. If it's not gonna come out, it's not gonna come out, and I'm just gonna sit here and pray and close my eyes and thank God and whatever. But it was definitely a process coming out of that religiosity, I will say.
Yes.
Especially once the day I got the intuitive hit to go buy some oracle cards, I was like, oh my God, wait, hold up. Because that was always my boundary. Like I knew, like just from growing up, like tarot cards, like we don't do that. That's Satan. That's the devil. That's the devil. Okay. And I was like, oh my God, like, and I was going back and forth with myself all day at work.
You inviting all kind of spirits and entities in.
Girl. And it's so funny because like I was like, okay, like I was like, if I still feel this strong urge to go to my spiritual shop, that I would go and get my crystals and stuff, right? But I would always stay away from the cars. I was like, I'm not gonna go over there. I was like, if I still feel this urge, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see what happens. And I was like, and if I find a deck that really draws me, I'm gonna buy it. If I don't, I'm not gonna buy it. Like that's just it. So I go, girl, I was in that bookshop for at least an hour, 2 hours, walking back and forth, looking at every single deck of cards, all the little dark ones too, because, there's that side too, there's a spectrum. Yes. So I finally found this beautiful deck, and I was like, this is the one. It was a shamanic healing deck. And I was like, this is the one. And I go home and I open it up and it has gold foil all around the edges. I was like, oh, this is my deck. This is my deck because I have a thing with gold. So it was just that. That was, I feel like that was really like, okay, I'm good. All I have to do is just listen to my intuition, follow my guidance. And I was like, I'm going to keep following it until it doesn't feel good. Like I'm going to keep. Oh,
that's powerful.
Yeah, like I'm just going to keep doing this because it's these are little breadcrumbs. It's asking, essentially now I realize it was just my soul's way of getting me to trust myself. Yes. And so I've been, I took the breadcrumbs and it's like, it's led me here. Right. And so I'm like, hey, listen, I'm doing something right. Like, I understand. I get it. Like, that's what happens when you don't know. fear, you come up with all kind of scenarios, and it's just
Yes.
one fear passed down to the next generation, passed down to the next generation, but you guys don't know, you haven't looked, you haven't tried, you haven't seen nothing, you just have heard, and so once
And
you
you
start,
accept.
and you would just accept, just all willy-nilly.
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly.
like, that's
So
the
then,
whole thing too, right? Like, just the
so then
blind lead the blind at that point.
when things started happening for you, like when your gifts started opening up.
Say that one more time.
I said when things started happening for you and your gifts started opening up,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
how did that hit you?
It was when I started becoming more, it happened through meditation. That's
Hmm.
like when my gifts really started opening up. It was through meditation. I started to go through like all these different journeys. So I started with guided meditations, and then I started going beyond the like, oh, just breathe deep breaths and think about releasing the stress, like, yeah, you have like the very basic side, then you have like
Yeah.
the go through this crystal cave and meet your guides, and I started doing those meditations.
Yes.
Started meeting my guides. I was curious. I was like, I want to know who my guides are. And so I
Right.
did a few of those, meditated a few different guides, until it came to a point where my soul was like, we need off the guided meditations. We want to go and do our own thing. And I was like, okay. So then it became me just setting my timer and listening to some water music and doing the deep breaths, how I've been taught, about the basic, meditation 101. And
Hmm.
then I just started going places, and like certain guided meditations that I would use wouldn't work for me anymore. So then I was like, okay, that was my sign. Like, we're done with this meditation. We need to do our own
Hmm.
thing. So like all of those meditations just kind of started falling away, and I just started doing my own thing, and I was building my own like little havens and things, and so I have a really deep connection with my higher selves. I have three different ones, and they've all merged and dismerged, and they do their own thing.
That's
But that's,
awesome.
yeah, so that's how it was. Like, I got connected to my first higher self, and then it led me to the second higher self and to the third higher self, and I've been through all kind of journeys and all kind of things in my meditation. So that's when I was just like, yeah, like, we gotta just start trusting and following our
Yes.
intuitive guidance, the messages
Yes.
that want to come through, the
Hmm.
downloads. I
Yes.
journal pretty religiously. And
Right. Right.
and so
I feel you.
figured I'd throw that in there. But yeah, and I've just allowed it to just grow and flow. And it's, the beautiful thing about this journey is still a process. Like, I'm not
Yes.
here to say I've found it all and I know it all and I've discovered
No.
everything. It's like, I'm still learning. I'm still having to trust. I actually got
Yes.
presented, which I'm pretty sure it's a test, yesterday on the full moon. And I was like, and I almost took the bait. I've been kind of going back and forth. This is an old job that asked me to come on and do some photography. And I was just like, I saw where I was like, okay, yeah, I could totally do that. But it was all like a money driven thing. And so today I realized, I was like, okay, what is it about this thing? I'm like sitting here trying to figure out, like, is this a test? Like, should I take this? Is this an opportunity? Like, what is this? And so today my spirit was like, this is all ego driven. And I was like, damn, you're right. This is all ego driven. It's all about the money. I don't care anything about the actual, with, like, even though I love photography, and that was the trick. It was like, but I love photography. It would be so cool to be like the lead photographer on this set. But it's like the company that I would be doing it for, I don't care about that. Like, I don't really want, I'm moving in a month, and I was like, it's gonna be a whole back and forth thing. Like, my spirit was just telling me this so subtly, and I was like, yeah, I know, but no, I'm gonna put my boundaries in place. Like, it's ego, but I'm gonna do my boundaries, and I'm gonna make sure that they know that when this is done, I'm gonna be done. Da 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 da. And I was just like, I'm gonna have to say no. I'm gonna have to say
Yeah,
no,
because
because
that shifts your energy.
it really does.
And that's the thing, because that's yeah,
And that's what I
that's
heard. I
awesome.
was like, no, I don't need any stress. I'm manifesting this house, and I need my energy to stay balanced. And I was
Yes.
like, if it's about the money will come through a different avenue that feels much more aligned. And
Oh
and
my
I won't,
God.
like, you know what I mean? Like, money's
I
going, like,
do.
other money's coming. Like, this was a test. And that's why I had to, like, be sure that, like, I'm making the right decision. I knew this was a test. I finally just settled it in my heart. Like, no, this is a test. This ain't the money that you want. Other money's coming. So this is a no. So it's gonna be a no for me. It's a
That
no
is
for me,
so
dog.
that is so powerful. So now
Yeah.
you do. I was looking on your page and I thought I saw something about chakra, something.
Yes, my course. So it's aligned with chakra medicine.
Okay, all right, that's what I was saying. So do you do like you do Reiki or any of those energy healing things, or what do you do?
No, not yet. I do have a pretty dope chakra meditation that I need to record and put. I want to put it up on Insight Timer, but other than that, no. I just work with the energy as a medicine because it's helped
That
me so
is
much.
awesome.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
and
ain't
so,
really had no real training,
mm,
spirit trained.
yeah, that's it.
That is powerful, girl.
Yeah.
That is powerful because most of us don't trust ourselves in that way. You know what I mean? Or we
mm,
feel like we need to be validated by, being
mm,
this type of practitioner and that one.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I went through all that, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a little part of I don't even like that imposter syndrome thing, but I know that is a true
Right,
thing.
right,
And I
right.
realize that it's a part of that because you feel like,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not saying I'm a such and such a practitioner,
Mm-hmm. Right,
that
right.
I'm not validated, or I can say that I'm a Reiki master. Now I'm a Reiki master,
Mm-hmm.
but do I do
Mm-hmm.
Reiki? No,
Mm-hmm.
no. I mean, I do energy, but
Mm-hmm.
it's probably got some Reiki infused in there
Oh
somewhere.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Something that I just couldn't, to be honest, I couldn't remember all them symbols and stuff. I was like,
They
does
had
it,
you look
do we
like Doctor
require,
Strange, huh?
right? I was like, do we require all this? Is this required to get this done?
Wow.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so
no,
that's
and I for sure I definitely had that moment, especially starting this course. I was like, wow, like do I need some kind of like, should I get something? And funny enough, a friend of mine had passed on this opportunity that were they were certifying people of color to be life coaches. And I
oh
was like, well, it's free, like it wouldn't hurt. But I made sure that I told myself, I'm like, okay, if that I could do that, it would, it would be an added bonus. It's a free certification, sure, why not? But it's not going to limit me or prohibit me from continuing on to launch my course. So, whether I have
no,
that
because
certification or not, I feel aligned and I feel guided
right.
to do this course. It's launching as I am, no
Well, and the thing
certification
is,
in tow.
it will also help you with that because when you launch your course, are you going to do? Is it going to be like a group program, or is it just a
Well,
course?
eventually, I do see it becoming a group program. Right now, I'm working one on one, but yeah, I do
Yeah,
want to get more, have more group sessions. But so far, my clients have just been kind of coming to me as referral based. So
that's
it's
awesome.
yeah, no, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. So I've just been taking it, because obviously when you launch something like this, you have an idea. I want this amount of people to be there, and blah blah blah. And I had to realize this is also a lesson for me, like if you have one person, because that was my big hang up, like it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. A lot of lack mentality, it really is. And that's the spirit showing me, like, no, you're gonna keep getting this one until you learn your lesson. And so I was like, you know what? One is everything. Like girl, spirit had to like sit me down real hard. Like, who do you think you are that one person isn't enough? Like, who do
Right.
you think you are? And I was like,
Mhm.
ooh, you right. I'm so sorry. And I had to be
Right.
humbled and I had to really just be like, no, I'm going to show up for this one person. Like that's more of me that they get to see. That's more like help and guidance that I get to pour into them, just being us. So I had to really just like, this is where I am, when it comes time for the 3, 5, 7, 11 people in the group session, I'm going to be ready for that. I'm going to be prepared for that. Right now, I'm not ready for it. So I just had to accept and still show up. I can't not show up because it's not how I want it to be, or doesn't look how I want it to look.
Yes.
That's so
Yes.
ego based. So
It
I had
really,
to,
you're right about that
yeah.
because, when we start creating these courses in our mind, we're like, okay, well, I need 100 people to buy this course.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And so for me, it's like I have really been at this place, especially since like the end of the year
Mm.
until now. I've been at this place where, I've been called to connect with my ancestors. And
Mm-mm.
it's been like a heavy ass calling.
Wow.
And because I was like you with the religion, I could
Mm-hmm.
not understand the tarot. I could not get it. So
Mm-hmm.
consequently, I don't do tarot at all.
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't understand it. Now I just bought this African hoodoo tarot deck
Oh,
recently
okay.
that I really like. Yeah, I bought it
Mm-hmm.
on Amazon. And I really like it, and I'm learning a little bit more. But I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
understand them towers and those,
I'm learning
all
too.
the.
I just bought a deck for my birthday back in February. So I literally I pull cards sparingly just because it's 78 cards, like, and
Yeah,
they all have a meaning and they all this, that, and not to mention all the spreads and I was
yes,
just like, we're just gonna take it one day at a time.
that's it. One day at a time. That's exactly, and that's exactly
Mhm.
what I did. Like I
Yeah.
look at them and I pull a card for myself, and I say, okay,
Hmm.
what are we doing? And and then I go and read the book and see what they're talking about. But it's an interesting deck. If you have a chance, grab it. It's
Okay,
I think it's
African
African
hoodoo.
hoodoo or something.
Okay.
I'll take a picture
When
of
you
it.
pull your cards, have they been spot on when you do your
Yeah,
pulls?
absolutely.
Isn't that the craziest thing? That's why
That
I'm like,
is
oh no, this is not say, no, this is divine. Like,
yes,
there's no way. Like,
yes.
the first card pull I did, it was for my birthday. This is like this tarot deck that I bought was a birthday gift, and I had like this whole. It's called the Muse Tarot. It's a beautiful deck.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
You seen that one? Oh my god,
Hmm.
I love it. And so I pulled this card, and like I just had this whole channeling come through because I'm also connected to like Starseed races and stuff like that. And I had this whole channeling come through. The queen, I mean the card that I pulled was the Queen of Voices, and I think in a traditional deck that's the Queen of Wands.
Okay.
And so I'm seeing this woman give me this message. I'm just writing it down in my journal, and I just kind of take a step back, and I was like, I went somewhere. I was like, who was that? And I was like, it had like this very queenly energy, like but it was like very motherly. And I was like, that was my Lemurian mother because I have a connection to Lemuria. And I was like, whoa, my first time ever pulling a tarot card.
That's awesome. And it almost makes me think, and I almost hate to say this in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it almost makes me think that a lot of times when we were stuck in that religious
Mm-hmm.
um, place, it's like they wanted us to not know,
Oh yeah.
not understand
Oh yeah.
all the aspects. I tell people, I said, now I've got a course that I just got downloaded the name, like finding the
Mm.
God of your own understanding.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't started creating it yet, but I got the name
Yeah.
because I'm using CourseCraft for mine
Okay. Okay.
because CourseCraft is so easy.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm
type
looking
it
into that
out,
course
add your little things, make a video,
Mm-hmm.
put video on, you're done.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was the easiest platform because I had Teachable, and Teachable was driving me bananas.
Mm.
And some of those other ones in Kajabi, I was like, I'm not ready for that because I ain't trying to pay that kind of money right now every
Mm-hmm.
month.
Mm-hmm.
But CourseCraft, I found you can do it, start it free, and then I think if once you want to go up and do some other things, you can do like $20 a month. I think it's
Okay.
20 or 25 a month.
Okay.
So I was
Okay.
like, I can do that.
Something to look into, definitely.
Oh yeah, CourseCraft is beautiful. I mean, it's really it's an easy, simple platform. That's what I like. To me, simple is best.
Yes. That's what I've been learning through just this whole creative process, especially in the beginning. Just make it simple, make it beautiful,
Yeah,
make it simple, make your
yeah.
life easy.
And show your heart because that is what I
Yeah.
see. I
Mm-hmm.
can see your heart right now. And that,
Thank you
to
so
be honest with
much.
you, that's what I saw when I found you.
Wow.
Because I sent you the pitch, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I saw. I was looking through your Instagram thing. I don't know if I followed you or you followed me, but I looked and I said, "Ooh," I said, "I like what she's doing." I said, "Let me see if she wants to come on the show." Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were in a clubhouse room together. I don't know if you
is
remember.
on. Hmm?
I said we were on a clubhouse room together. I don't know if you remember. I don't know which
Oh,
room we're in, but yeah, you reached out to me. You were like, "Hey, I'm in the clubhouse room with you. I'd love to have you on my podcast." And I was like,
was it the
"Okay."
Oracle one? The one with Oracle Blue?
Oh, I don't even remember. This was like back in
Girl.
February.
Yeah. See, and I had to ease back a little bit on
Oh,
Clubhouse
did
because I
you?
was getting too addicting. Yeah. So
Yeah,
now I'm
it's.
kind of going back, but I'm doing boundaries and stuff. And
I
because girl, I'll be
know.
on Clubhouse all night.
I know.
And I was like, I
Yeah.
can't do that. I got stuff to do, and I need to be
Yeah.
able to hear. While I'm driving stuff. I don't need to hear the people speaking in my ear,
Yeah.
But I was like, I need to. But I think what I'm gonna do is, as I do these master classes, because I enjoy them, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
start doing them on Clubhouse as well
Yeah,
as on the other
yeah,
platform.
yeah,
Mhm.
definitely,
'Cause
definitely. I've started doing more stuff on Clubhouse too. Oh, sorry, say that again.
yeah, no, I said because I do StreamYard. So, StreamYard, you can stream to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter,
Oh
all at
no,
the
I
same
didn't know
time.
that.
Oh, girl. Okay, we'll talk
StreamYard.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, StreamYard.
If you
Okay,
have a PC,
StreamYard.
it's StreamYard. If you have a Mac, it's Restream.
Okay, Restream.
But it's the same thing. You can stream to like three different platforms. I think if
Mm-hmm.
you pay a little bit more, because mine, I think I paid something like $20 or something a month. But
Okay,
you
okay.
pay a little bit more, you can stream to more places. But I
Got
usually
you.
stream to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
Okay.
And then I use my phone to do Instagram while I'm doing so. I'm on all those places at the same time.
Wow. You're a
I'm trying to
beast.
maximize,
I
right?
see. Wow, you're like inspiring me. I'm slowly getting back into social media because it would just feel like so overwhelming. And
Yes,
so I'm starting with Instagram. Now I'm dibbling into Clubhouse. Um and so yeah. So yeah, that's good to know though. That is good to know.
oh yeah, I'm telling you. Just reach out if you need to know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I got you. All right, so let the people know if they are in a place where you were,
Mm.
the transition place that you were in.
Hmm.
What would you say to them?
I would say trust your instinct, trust your intuition, trust your inner knowing, because that is going to lead you exactly where you need to go, where you need to be. And the way you know it's your intuition, it's just going to be the most beautiful, quietest, stillest voice. And it's just going to be slowly inspiring and nudging you along this one path. And you're going to be a little hesitant because it's going to be a little off course in what you've been trained to go and do and be. But I promise you, it's so worthwhile to just rediscover yourself and to reclaim your authentic essence. I promise you, because that is what I had to do. And that's what we all deserve to do. So,
That
yeah,
is
just go for it.
amazing. I love it. So
Thank
share with
you.
the people where they can find you.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at On the Cusp Wellness. You can also check my podcast, On the Cusp of Something Beautiful. Available on all your podcast streaming platforms. And if you're interested about finding more information about my course, Activate Your Soul, Activate Yourself, you can email me at onthecuspcollective@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at onthecuspwellness. And yeah, if you want to follow me on Clubhouse too, I am on Clubhouse. Search for my club, On the Cusp Wellness, and
Okay.
I will be there.
That is so amazing. I just want to thank everyone for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah, talking with Tammi. It's been amazing talking to my guest, Amickoleh Imani. I mean, this has been such an awesome conversation. I wish I could talk to her for about 2 hours.
This has been
But we
beautiful.
know
Thank
that's
you.
just really hard to do. So I may have to bring her back on and we'll have to do it again.
I
But
love
I'm
that.
so excited just to be talking to this young lady because she is a force to be reckoned with. She really is someone who is changing the planet. So if you can follow her, make sure that you connect with her because she, like I said, she is a mover and a shaker here. And I'm just so excited and grateful that she graced my platform today. So
Thank you
again,
so
thank you so
much.
much for watching. And thank you for joining us. And make sure that you check out all the podcasts on Anchor FM. It's also on Spotify. It'll be on Apple. It's also on YouTube on my channel. Check that out as well. And I thank you so much for joining us. Bye now.
I know you've been blown away with the amazing value here today. Now go out and inspire the planet. And be sure to send us a message when you're ready to come talk about it on Straight Outta Savannah, Talking with Tammi.